So YouTube family, America, the country that I love, I'm about to show you a series of videos to get your mind going, tingling, so we can have this conversation. And after you watch these series of videos, I will give my synopsis on Charlie Kirk himself. Bear with me, smash the like button, hit the notification bell. No one deserves to die this way, but let's have the conversation that nobody wants to have. That's why I'm doing this video. I respect all Americans. And once again, I even stand up for Charlie Kirk's right of free speech. But let's indulge ourselves with this honest conversation about who Charlie Kirk was. Can we do that as grown-ups? I think we can.
If you're a public person, a political person, a podcaster, a pundit, a sports show, a political show, any platform, and you are in any way, shape, excusing, rationalizing, debating, any way, shape what happened to Charlie Kirk, you're sick. Because, and I say this with all due respect to all of us, including myself.
I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up new age term that it does a lot of damage, but
On a day of mourning, a national day of mourning for Charlie Kirk.
Action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot.
I don't believe anyone should be shot, and not this guy either. But let's remember who the fuck this guy was, huh? Homosexuals should be shot, he said, because they're abomination. The way to fix homelessness is to lock them all up. Black people don't have brain processing power, so if he gets on a flight with a black pilot, he's nervous. Women...
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question, when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily... No one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black...
Charlie Kirk has no problem putting his true beliefs about anyone who isn't a white, rabid conservative like him on full display.
You're gonna remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian. See a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
This man actually found a way to make Martin Luther King an enemy. Although I didn't agree with Martin Luther King tactics, but he was a true American patriot. To be honest, now the conversation is gonna get serious. Let's have it.
Bobby Seale is going through all types of physical and mental torture. But that's all right, because we said even before this happened, and we're going to say it after this, and after I'm locked up, and after everybody's locked up, that you can jail revolutionaries, but you can't jail a revolution. Bang.
They attacked the victim, and then the criminal who attacked the victim accuses the victim of attacking him. This is American justice.
This is the oppressed, this is the oppressor, this is the exploited, this is the exploiter. And these people in this class have divided themselves. They say, I'm black and I hate white people. I'm white and I hate black people. I'm Latin American and I hate hillbillies. I'm hillbilly and I hate Indians. So we fight amongst each other. And why? Because they want to keep you to believing that I'm your enemy, and that everybody else that's black and that wears a lot of hair on his head and hair on his face, they want to keep you thinking that he's your enemy. Why? Because if ever you would throw away that question of racism and started to dealing with a little logic, there would be no one else you could attack other than hand-to-hand and other than Tricky Dicky Nixon.
But if we left it up to the mainstream narrative in the movie, Janai would have been painted as this monster, as this criminal. And then it makes me also think about our reality, where whenever a young black man or woman has been killed by law enforcement, the images that they tend to show. And automatically I think about the story of Trayvon Martin. That was the first young black man I've seen who looked like me that was shown through media. And when he was killed, they did not, when George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin, they did not show the images that reaffirmed him as humanity. They didn't show him with images with his father, they showed him with his middle finger up. Because why was that? They was trying to create a narrative and shape an image to justify his death.
I saw his tongue had been choked out and it was lying down on his chin. I saw that this eye was out and it was lying about midway the cheek. I looked at this eye and it was gone. I looked at the bridge of his nose and it looked like someone had taken a meat. And I looked at his teeth because I took so much pride in his.
The white woman who accused Emmett Till of making advances toward her has died.
A Louisiana coroner confirmed Carolyn Bryant Donham died today in hospice care at the age of 88. In 1955, Bryant Donham accused the 14-year-old black boy of whistling and making advances towards her at a grocery store in Mississippi. Till was later kidnapped, tortured, and lynched by a mob. Till's death became a catalyst in the civil rights movement after his mother insisted on an open casket at his funeral.
The thing that the Lord said to me was, Emmett did not belong to you. You should be grateful to have been able to keep him for the short time he was on the earth. But Emmett was mine. I sent him here to do a job, and Emmett has done that job well. The Lord told me, he said, I've taken one, but I will give you thousands.
Be sure to click the link below and watch the full and edited video.
And it makes me think, like, are we using these tools to actually tell our stories, to speak our truth? Or are we solely using our ability to create content to just be entertainers? Like, there's an African proverb that says, until the lion learns how to write, the story always glorify the hunter. But now we have the pen, now we have a camera. So we have the ability to tell our stories, but yet we are allowing the story of the hunter, which is our colonizers, which some may say is the white man, stories to be told. And I'm actually like, are we using the tools that we have access to tell our story?
And an update just into the News 8 newsroom. A dash cam video is expected to be released today as the investigation into the death of a 28-year-old woman in Texas continues. Sandra Bland died a week ago, and now we're learning, getting a look at what happened leading up to her death. Take a look at the surveillance video from the jail. You can see an officer check on Bland, and then commotion begins. Officials say
Tamir Rice, who was 12 years old, died later in hospital. His family wanted these recordings released, and the police obliged.
This is not an effort to exonerate. It's not an effort to show the public that anybody did anything wrong.
Police say Tamir was told 3 times to raise his hands, but his family questions the speed of the incident.
Because I believe, just like in the film, that we left it up to mainstream media, these news outlets, they will continue to circulate a certain image of who we are, with the hope that we start to internalize these images and become what it is that they're portraying us to be. But we now have the power to redefine our own narratives, which is what I use my platform to do.
We have a man who everybody hates. We hate him, his mama hate him, his family hate him, the white police hate him, the regular white men and white women hate him. This is a man who is hated by everyone. The only solace that God made for him was us. And when he comes to us and can't get any sanctuary at all, then he don't have no life. And then they win, because what they want to do is to destroy him and make us think that we are better than him, so that we will help the enemy destroy our own man that God gave to us. We have the best man on earth. Everybody want him. He looked better than everybody. He's stronger than everybody. He is the best, the wisest, and the most beautiful.
For everybody, this is a disclaimer. I'm going to have an honest conversation about Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to be respectful because no one deserved that type of situation that happened to them for free speech. But I have to have a conversation how everybody are pretending that this man was an American hero. Maybe he was a good American to you guys, but I think the hero part is far-fetched. So let's have a fair enough conversation about this. I did a video in my room talking about it. Come have this conversation with me. If you're a true American, let's have that conversation right now. Now, I did a video yesterday saying rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. And I did mean it because I don't think anybody should be unalived based on their opinions about something. But I will be honest to at least say this guy didn't like black folks a lot. So what's weird and astounding about America is we're always forced and told to love the people who hated us, the people who spread misinformation about us. If I got on the internet and said some of the things Charlie said about other counterparts and groups, you guys would be in disgust and lie about it and get mad. And imagine if I didn't use no historical facts at all, no points proven. Charlie would literally get up and use his own rhetoric and then combat his own narrative. No, I'm gonna be honest, and I would have just leave it alone because I don't believe we should talk negative about people who died. But here's the problem. Charlie didn't practice what you people want me to practice and everybody else to practice. Now I'm going to practice proper decorum because I believe people who look like me and myself, we are the great people in America. We are the true Americans. We're forgiving groups of people. We love everybody, and we allow people to continue to march on us, walk over us, and talk bad about us. For the world to stop and act as if Charlie was a fallen United States president, a military war hero, that's disrespectful for all veterans such as myself. Now, people can say rest in peace to Charlie. People can say it was wrong. Cool, but they're giving him status of Pearl Harbor victims. They're giving him status of actual military veterans who earned a right. Hold on, baby girl, I'm gonna talk to you. My daughter just came from a championship victory. I just came from her football game. So I'm doing my fatherly duties while speaking on this. I had a conversation with my young ones about Charlie Kirk, because my son seen a video floating on the internet. How do you guys want me to speak to my kids about this man who just passed? And my sons are thinking he's the second coming of Jesus Christ. And they're like, it's wrong what they did to Charlie, man. He loved us. I said it is wrong what they did to Charlie, but I never lied to my sons. He didn't like us. He spread negative connotation about us and regurgitated all the nonsense from supremacists. Not only that, he lowered the self-values of black people to animals, animal-like behaviors. And what made it worse, this rhetoric about black fathers not being there. Then what happened to the counterparts of white folks, white families? You know what you never hear from these guys like Charlie Kirk? You never hear the solution and the problem, how to solve the white epidemic of violence that goes on in the United States for the last 400 years or so. You don't hear rhetoric that gets spewed out how we can combat what's going on in the plight of whiteness that really attacks damn near everybody. We don't talk about that. In fact, I find it rather peculiar. Charlie's last word was about gang violence, which we all know gang violence is a problem. We don't need Charlie and his rhetoric and his regular stitch to speak about that. And his death was horrible. Nobody should ever be killed for free speech. You guys know I'm an advocate of free speech. In fact, my channel has taken a hit because free speech is not really allowed here. So I'm an advocate for Charlie to have his rights of free speech. So no matter how much negative things and connotations he wants to say about black people, he's entitled to that. But here's the thing, to force Americans like myself to love someone like Charlie, you can never force me to love somebody like him. I only defend him when it comes to being American with free speech, but that's as further as my words are going to go. So no, I did not cry. I did not get on my knees to feel sorry for him, because in the same breath, you can say whoever did what they did to Charlie, they're going to meet their demise. Who's to say Charlie didn't meet the wrath of God for the horrible things you said about black people? You really said about a lot of groups, but let's stick to the actual foundation of America, which was on the backs of beautiful black people who's built this country. And let's just get a little bit more deeper. Beautiful black Americans who have built this country. Charlie actually made these people acceptable to violence, meaning that you made it safe and okay for someone to hurt us, someone to kill us, because the only thing you projected out there that 70% of us are violent. Not only that, your rhetoric wants the world to believe 14% of the population is the systemic problem of America. None of this was true. I don't care what per capita you want to bitch and moan about. I don't care what stats you juked up to fit your false narrative. And that's the problem with guys like Charlie. To see all you Americans get radicalized based on your hatred and your insecurities, because this is all what it really is. I think South Park had an episode that shown whatever exists in the black male's pants is what the other groups of people who hate them are infatuated with or obsessed with. You seen when I talk about this Shador Sanders thing, it's always the group of racists who come to the comment sections and they act as if I forced them to click on the video. I forced them to continue to follow me, to continue to follow Shador, to continue to go to X and Twitter, Reddit and such, and wake up trolling black people all day, condemning us all day as if they're the judge, jury, and executioners. It's really baffling to see a group of people who perpetrate so much hatred towards one group of the 14%, yet when Charlie got killed, we didn't have to get surprised to know who killed him, to know who it was, and it was always your own counterparts who you continue to sweep under the rug and claim, no, it's the gangsters that are the violent problems. But here's the truth that Charlie didn't tell you guys. The real problem with gangsters are not that they hurt white people, they hurt other black people. So the truth is, gangs are an epidemic and a problem for me, for my sons, for my beautiful supporters, for other fellow black people in America, other fellow Americans, or anybody black. Those are who those gang problems are really in the way of, other black people. So I find it odd to see groups like Charlie Kirk and many of his supporters to wake up every day, walk past the trash in your neighborhoods, walk past the actual tweakers in your neighborhood, the actual needle pushers in your neighborhood, the actual people who have destroyed the republic of these states of America. You ignore that. You ignore the people who are actually in power, who actually have actual powers that the 14% doesn't have. You negate that, you dismiss it, and just want to talk about black folks all day. So no, there will be no tears in my eyes. I will stand up for Charlie Kirk rights as an American, because black people are the true Americans. We respect this country more than any groups, because no matter how much you spit on us, you talk about us, you have these narratives as if we're an animal that you researched on and you know us better than we know ourselves. No matter how much illogical thinking you bring on the black man and the black woman, we still bounce back and we have a pick-me-up attitude. We're not professional victims. You take a small percentage and you blow it up as this great percentage that represents the black community. Yet I'm in a wealthy suburban black neighborhood right now. There are many of them in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, even Mississippi, in Arkansas. You dismiss all of that and you say rhetoric as, I've never seen a black neighborhood before, you're lying and this and that. But you guys live through the lens of a movie. You don't hang around this community you bring down every day. But now you people are forcing us to cry for this man as if he was an American hero. It's disrespectful to every soldiers who laced up the boots, who strapped up. We took our M16s, we took our M4s, and we fought for this country. I would not let any of you Charlie Kirk groupies ever belittle me on what it means to be American. Last time I checked, I went overseas to protect these countries. Majority of you little incels and you little groupies of his, guess what? A lot of you turds that have never did. You've never fought for your country. I don't see you strapping up and going overseas, but I see every one of those dudes in the hoods, those 14% you take a dump on, we're always in the military. We fought in all your wars because we're the true patriots, we're the true Americans. I had to say that because to see Dr. Umar Johnson pretending there's just a lot of black people celebrating, taking a micronism of people who are nothing more than bots and trolls and try to subjugate them as a counterpart of the global scale of what black people are, that's disgusting. Because if I do the same thing and I take the groups of people who take our plights and miscues us and put us rather to an animalistic type of mindset, you'll you'll get mad if I use that so-called small groups of whites and I use them in an illogical talking point as if that's the representation of all whites. You'll call me a professional victim, but for some reason we're not allowed to call you Charlie Kirk fans professional victims, and I'm not gonna call you guys that. I have respect for fellow Americans, something that a lot of you guys lack. It's easy to cry now about, oh, leave Charlie alone, but you're the same group of people who laughed at Sandra Bland. You laughed at a young Trayvon Martin who's walking with a bag of Skittles, and you claim he wasn't. He was stealing and robbing. You're the same group of people who laughed at an 11 years old Tamir Rice getting killed within 1 second by a ravish rabies-ridden cop who shouldn't even be on the force. You don't combat that and speak against that. Nor do I go around crying about that, but it should be cared about. It should be you guys, the so-called true Americans, who fight for Trayvon Martin, and you don't. You should fight for an 11-year-old Tamir Rice who's not doing anything different than his white counterparts playing with toy guns in the park. But for some reason, Charlie Kirk and many of you guys twisted that around, and guess what? Made him a thug as well. So no, there will be no cries. There would be no, this is not a victory, because anybody dying is not a victory. But guess what? Scripture comes out, and scripture lets me know God is very real. There will be no mocking of the 144th. There will be no mocking of the people of the Most High. So you can laugh at us, you can celebrate, but your own have got rid of Charlie Kirk. And maybe I should say I don't believe he died, even though we know he died, because according to you followers of Charlie Kirk, there is no real white on white problem. It's only a black on black problem, but yet you negate all the white crime. So should I dismiss Charlie Kirk being killed by a fellow white brother? Right, since you say that the main crime is us, is black folks. So what should I say when Charlie Kirks get killed at the hands of another white guy? You see what I'm saying? Until it happens to you, you dismiss it. Until it happens to people you care about, now you want to hold people accountable. But I've seen the plight of you guys. And guess what? I'm going to take the high road because I am the higher man. I'm not taking the high road because I'm a stepping fetching and I want your approval. I'm taking the high road because I am the higher man. I am the greater man. I'm a beautiful chocolate brother, the essence of my maker. I look just like my creator, just like my people look like my creator. There will never be no stepping fetching. So excuse me if you don't see any teardrops or anything. It's one thing to say rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. It's another thing to make him an American hero. I'll be goddamn, he was not an American hero. Don't intertwine the lines between what's a true patriot. Crispic Attucks was a true American hero. Some rabbling clown on social media with a voice and a platform does not give him the status of an American hero. I be goddamn. Was it wrong he got killed? Absolutely. The scriptures say obey the laws of the land. So based on the laws of the land, no man, no woman should get killed for free speech. But don't intertwine that as that's the thing to make him an American hero. You got mad when they made George Floyd an American hero. You guys said a lot of things. He was a murderer, or he did home evasions. He was a drug head. Well, Charlie Kirk was a racist clown who was a despicable American who went out of his way to disparage good black Americans. Every single day, that was his stitch. And now you want me to pretend he was not a form of a terrorist to black people. He didn't terrorize us with actual weapons, but I beg to differ. The camera is the worst weapon you can weaponize on a community. Propaganda is the worst weapon you can weaponize on a community, because now you're causing people to have no compassion and no pain for the plight of these group of people. So now when it happens to Charlie boy, you want us to have this level of discernment? You want me to have proper decorum? Well, I will have proper decorum, because once again, I'm 144th. We are the greater people. But proper decorum and a self-respect for a loading life person like that dude, I don't know about that. And it's disrespectful to all veterans to name Charlie Kirk and give him American hero status. Hell no. Never, not on my watch. I'm a true American patriot. We reserve those for fellow Americans who care about the living, who care about the free, and that's why I'm American first, because to be this complexion is America's first. We've taken everything that you can throw at us, and I still wake up every day and I wave that flag, but it's not to cater to you folks. It's to show my brother and my sister that
We've built this. We are this. We are the true patriots of America. There will be no more begging. There will be no more cowering down. I walk up with my chest up, my chin out, and I let you know with a loud shout, I'm proud to be American, a black American, the greatest Americans who have built this country. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. You didn't deserve it. But guess what? Black people didn't deserve your rhetoric for the last 7 to 8 years. It's life, man. And God doesn't make mistakes. And I would never say God should get rid of people. But once again, I'm a believer in the scripture. Are you? Or is it that you just wake up to hate the 14% and blame everything on the 14% on a daily basis? Your wives are getting tired of you males waking up worrying about us. Go build a rocket ship and go design a new building. Stop taking credit for the whites before you. It's your turn to prove you're this higher IQ. You're this greater man. Go build something. Go conquer another part of these worlds and prove who you are besides rhetoric and spewing propaganda.